I'm Indian with white patches.
I'm an African American with white patches.
I am Hispanic with white patches.
I am black with white patches.
I'm Caucasian with white patches.
I am Asian with white patches.
I'm human with white patches.
They've heard it all.
It looks like your skin is coming off.
You look like a cow.
I'm burnt.
I'm ugly.
You're an alien.
The effects are devastating.
Why me? Why do I have it?
It made me feel bad, really sad.
So I didn't know what the kid at school would say to me.
That made me feel ashamed of myself.
It was more just like a shock.
I was doing good. Am I that bad?
What they have is
Vitiligo.
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 We're twins and we have vitiligo.
What is vitiligo?
I have absolutely no idea.
I have no idea.
Not a clue.
Did you know?
Did you know?
Did you know?
Vitiligo is a disease of the skin where patients lose their color. The result is white spots that appear that are pretty prominent and easy to recognize by everyone who sees them. The reason why the white spots appear is because the immune system, whose job it is to protect you from infection and cancer, crawls into the skin, finds the pigment-making cells, and kills them. The result is that in that area, there's no more pigment, and what's left is a white spot.
I always thought I'd be black, so to be told that I'm gonna turn white one day, it really did something to me.
If I showed them pictures of me when I was, and I always say when I was black. I don't know why, I just be like, oh, let me show you pictures of when I was black.
Did you know?
Anyone can get vitiligo. Adults, children, 25 to 35% of patients who have vitiligo are children.
Being so young as a kid, there were times when I thought of taking my own life away because I didn't want to face, the kids. I didn't want to live my life like this every single day, feeling bad about myself, feeling ashamed of myself.
It does affect nearly 1% of the population. So about 1 in 100 individuals outside walking the street have vitiligo.
Looking at me, you wouldn't think that I have it so bad, but I've become expert at covering. I have to apply the makeup to my neck, all the areas.
I've always had to use makeup to conceal the spots on my face and my hands.
I started to notice more spots, and I decided to sort of take it into my own hands. There's so much widespread misinformation on the internet.
We believe around 70 million people in the world's population have vitiligo.
We have millions of patients worldwide that are affected, and some are behind closed doors. We need to open the doors, not just to the patients here, but around the world.
It does not have any barriers when it comes to race, ethnicity, or gender.
Did you know?
Vitiligo is not a black disease. It's simply more visible in darker racial ethnic groups. The overwhelming majority of the patients that I see are Caucasian, 80%.
She questions why her. Why does it happen to me? Why do I have it? What's wrong with me? Why am I different?
Did you know?
Genetics plays an important role in the risk of developing vitiligo.
10 to 20% can have a family history of vitiligo. The rest will develop it spontaneously if they have an underlying predisposition to it.
When people see me and see my hands, at first it might frighten them or they might be taken aback.
Vitiligo is not a cosmetic skin condition. Typical cosmetic conditions are hair loss that we all experience as we age, the formation of wrinkles, chronic sun exposure, dark spots.
If you have a pimple, it goes away. Vitiligo does not go away. White spots keep appearing. So day to day, month to month, year to year, your appearance keeps changing.
You don't want to change. You want to be yourself, and you're not yourself when you look into the mirror. When you're changing every month, every week.
I have no control over my emotions for it. And it's gonna do what it does. And it's a very sensitive subject.
I had the experience one time when I had a relationship and the person saw my patches white patches in my skin, and then she looked at it and went, "Is that contagious?"
Vitiligo is not contagious. It's like other autoimmune diseases like thyroid disease, juvenile diabetes, lupus, in which you cannot pass it to another person.
So there's nothing wrong with touching our hands. There's nothing wrong with being around us. We are just normal people who's going through a skin condition that changes our pigmentation.
Vitiligo is a white patch that affects the soul.
It was hard for me to look in the mirror. I would cry. I would feel really bad about myself.
It is so life-altering. It is so psychologically devastating.
The days where I have to sit and hear about people who commit suicide because they were not as strong as the people who have to live with it every day. They just couldn't take it. That's hurtful. It's hurtful to know that people who are like me couldn't accept this task of being different.
Vitiligo can have effects not just on the individual who has it, but on the entire family. It can be very stress-inducing for parents. It can be frustrating for them to see their own child go through this.
There's a lot of self-esteem that he masks that's underlying that a lot of people can't see. But as his mom, I can see it. Maybe I want to do that one again.
That's all right.
And it can have implications on their work life.
I always felt like I couldn't work at Foot Locker because you have to look a certain way. How are they gonna buy shoes from me? I always felt like I couldn't be a cook because if I cook, they might not want my hands on their food.
It can ruin relationships.
You don't get married off easily if you have vitiligo, and you have a lot of arranged marriages back in India. Even in other countries, would you go out with someone with white patches?
Did you know?
At this time, there is no cure for vitiligo. It's an abnormality of the immune system in which it's making a mistake.
There's this prevalent idea in society that there's nothing you can do about it.
There are various treatments for vitiligo. So these include topical creams that can affect the immune system. There are also light therapies, which are called phototherapy.
But the reality is, with light therapy, for example, a majority of patients get better. Now, does everybody get 100% better? No, but almost everybody experiences some level of improvement.
I would do skin grafting, where they take good cells and transplant them to my arms.
For those who do not respond, it continues to be often a devastating condition. And so for that reason, we need more treatment options. We need to better understand this disease. We need to be able to offer other treatments besides what we already have.
If you would have looked at me a few years ago, I would have not looked like this, and that treatments have greatly improved my appearance.
I participated in a study, and they're gone, and they've stayed, yay. They've remained my color for at least 3 years now.
There are success stories with the treatment of vitiligo, but they're stories. It's not a volume. It's not a tidal wave of success.
So we need better treatments that allow us to maintain it long term. And moreover, I want a cure.
And I believe with resources and funding and enough scientists and clinicians, we can find a cure.
It's a global issue, and it's one that we need to tackle from a global perspective.
There is so little funding for vitiligo that even a little bit makes a difference.
With patients' help, with the community's help, we can increase funding for vitiligo, which will drive treatments, which will drive innovation, will actually help patients move into the workplace, to be married, and to feel like they're part of a society. And every person should feel as though they are part of this society.
You might see someone with vitiligo and you might say, oh, or you might say, I'm glad I'm not them, but in 2 months you can have it too.
It don't matter who you are and what you look like, how much money you make, who your parents are. It happens.
You can make a difference.
We can make a difference.
Together, we can make a difference.
This is my vitiligo, and this is my story.
This is my vitiligo. This is my story.
This is my vitiligo. This is my story.
This is my vitiligo. This is my story.